Okay, this is round two of the story. So I wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate all of the comments that everybody's contributed, and I wanted to tell you that I also watched the video and saw that how it was presented. I looked at as I was looking at it. A lot of times I paused because it looked like I was getting emotional, but I wasn't getting emotional. It's just hard for me to catch my breath. I have to catch my breath every now and then to let people, in order to talk. So if I do that, that's why. Anyway, I also was talking about ended last session with pulmonary rehab, and I wanted to go back with that because I never said anything about what pulmonary rehab is. Pulmonary rehab is when I go to what they were doing is teaching me skills on how to breathe when I don't have the breathing apparatus like the tank, the oxygen tank, or a concentrator with me. So that allows me to breathe better and get my oxygen levels back up to an acceptable level in the 90s. Anyway, I think I spoke about that last time too, about the oxygen levels being in the 90s. Mine are typically around the 70s and 80s when I'm doing any walking or anything. But when I'm at home at rest, like right now, probably within 90 to 92 range, when other people are at 95, 97, 98, or even 100%. So I do have the tanks. I have several tanks of oxygen, and the oxygen concentrators, which I spoke about last time too. Yesterday I went for a dental cleaning, and while I was at the dental cleaning, the reason I'm going to the dentist and doing all of this is because it's at the request of the physicians at Cedars-Sinai. They want me to make sure that I get a full clean bill of health as far as dental is concerned, because during the rehab from the lung transplant, that's a bad time to have a toothache. So they want to make sure that I'm not that I have everything taken care of with regards to the dentist. So I have one more dental appointment, and I'm going to they'll be calling my dentist and finding out about how it went. So last week I was given 42 different blood tests, and I wanted to let you guys know that out of those 42, 36 of those blood tests came back with a positive result. The other 6, however, are a little sketchy, and they want to be retesting me for some of those. One of them that came back was that I tested positive for fentanyl, and I don't think that fentanyl is something that would be in my system, but nevertheless, they wanted me to do that. And then today I went to Cedars for a COVID test. It was just a drive-through COVID test, and they want to make sure that tomorrow or Thursday when I go for the heart catheterization, that I'm not putting anybody at risk, or them putting me at risk as well. So anyway, I go on Thursday, and they're going to lay me down on a table, and they're going to go through an artery, which is the artery is in the groin area, and it's kind of like when they're putting in a stent for somebody, but instead of a stent, it's a little camera, and they're going to weave that camera or the probe into my artery, and they're going to bring it up into my heart so that they can see whether my left and right ventricle are closing properly, and that's the reason for that. And I also was wondering about, if some of these blood tests that I took were bad enough to stop the process. So I'm thinking that if I go to this for this test on Thursday, that I probably got a clean bill of health, despite the negative effects of the blood test. So I think that that just goes without saying that, if they're going to proceed, why would they proceed if they saw something that they don't want to, that they don't like. Anyway, there are some other things that I'm going to be going for. Another one is a 6-minute walking test, and what they do is that they have me walk down a hallway for 6 minutes, and I'm connected to a probe on my fingertip that tells them what my blood oxygen level is at the time that I'm walking. The last time I did it, I walked up and down the hallway twice, and then they stopped me and then put me on oxygen and asked me to finish doing the walking test. The reason they put me on oxygen is because after the first minute, I became oxygen deprived. So I think my level was at 81%. So they put me on that to finish the test, and I did well even though I was on oxygen. So I had to wheel the oxygen tank back and forth down the hallway, and that also is included with a pulmonary function test, and that's when they put me in a it's like a sound booth, but it's glassed in, and what they do is that they change the pressure inside of that tank, inside of that room, that glass room, and they have me breathing into a tube so that they can log the results into the computer and get the information that they need, and that will tell them how much oxygen or how much space is in my lungs. For example, back in Texas when we were living there, and when I first found out and I went to the first pulmonologist, they determined that I had about 48% lung capacity. So that's what they did over there as well, and so that's why they do these tests. And the other one that I'm going to be going for, I believe next week, is an arterial blood gas, where you can feel your pulse in your wrist or in your neck. You can feel your pulse, and when you feel the pulse, that's where your artery is going through, and so that's what they do is that they check my artery for oxygenation, but more importantly to make sure that I'm expelling the right amount of carbon dioxide. Because if I have too much carbon dioxide in my body, then that's a problem as well. Because my lungs are supposed to expel the carbon dioxide, and if that's not working properly, then that's something that they have to deal with as well. Sorry about that. That was my dog. Somebody came to the door. Anyway, next time I want to talk about some of the testing that I'm going through, and let you know how all of that testing is done, and what else I have to go through. So goodbye for now.